Okay, here's another piece of advice about debt collectors that's been inspired by my friends Barry Boylan and Jake Willis, who sent me a load of information after I made that video yesterday. So I'm going to read it on camera, slap it on YouTube, because I think there's more chance of people seeing it. They need to see it rather than if it's just on my Facebook page. Okay, so please pass this on. Pass it on to everybody. People need to know this, okay? People need to know this. Here we go, right? Excuse me a second, right? Okay, this is for Barry, my friend Barry Boylan. When any so-called debt collection agency, which includes solicitors and bailiffs, threaten to obtain court orders, place any demand on you, they're perpetrating a fraud. In the case of court orders, their original application to the court conjoined said court in the fraud. Here are the reasons, right? They'll write a demand to you, claiming to be agents of the originator being whomsoever made the demand in the first place. For example, bank, building society, local authority, whatever, right? This is a lie. They are not agents at all, but have purchased the so-called debt with their own money, right? They do this by buying very cheaply and then attempting to collect the full amount from you, right? This is how you expect to make a profit. Please note, those who work for these agencies in the lower echelons do not necessarily know anything about this. However, they will have some kind of purchasing department who will know exactly what is going on. In law, however, by purchasing the so-called debt, they have extinguished it. This means that the money is no longer owed by you. In law, anything you may or may not have actually owed has been written off by the originator, and it was yourself and the originator that may or may not have had any contract to you which you may have been obligated. Okay? Thus, I hope my accent's no a problem for people. I'll try and calm down and speak more slowly, just I'm a bit excited with this, okay? Thus, for anyone to claim that you still owe anything is a barefaced fucking lie and a fraud. It is defamation, plain and simple. Fundamentally, what has happened is that someone has paid off any debt you may or may not have owed on your behalf. It's perfectly acceptable for human B to pay off human A's debt. People do this all the time. Where, for example, parents may bail out their bairns and vice versa. Friends do this for people all the time, okay? But once any so-called debt has been paid, it's been paid. And that's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. But when debt collection agencies do this, they continue to pursue you for a debt that has been in actual fact extinguished by their very purchase, right? So they're actually pretty stupid. Going around paying off somebody else's debts, that's just mental, and they do this. People that don't know, they just pay off their debts. They do this out of avarice, right? It's long past time that these greedy bastards got their comeuppance. That is happening. The genie is out of the bottle. Well said, Barry, fabulous. The point is this. By purchasing so-called debts in this way, excuse me a second, by purchasing so-called debts in this way, they had no interest in any original contract. Thus, when they purchased, they did so of their own volition, out of pure avarice, without any legal, lawful or moral obligation to do so. In short, they upped and volunteered. And we all know what happens when you volunteer for anything. You take other risks and comebacks upon yourself. That's what volunteering means. Because by volunteering you have agreed, excuse me a second again, so let's scroll here. Because by volunteering you have agreed to take other risks yourself, you have absolutely no right whatsoever to involve anybody else. Where am I? I've lost my place. Excuse me a second. I'm professional. Right. Yeah, by volunteering you've agreed to take the risk on yourself. You've absolutely no right whatsoever to involve anybody else and to try to palm the risk off on someone else. Which is of course precisely what they are doing when they try to palm it off on you by claiming to be agents and sending you demands. Excuse me a second, just flicked Ash on myself. They are perpetrating a fraud. Any original debt has been extinguished, no longer exists, so any claim to the contrary is a big fat lie. Okay, they claim to be agents when they are in point of fact nothing more than volunteers who decided rather stupidly to take on all the risks upon themselves. In legal terms, they tried to get around all this by considering the volunteer to be a holder in due course. This, of course, is nothing more than a legal wrangle to try to go over the basic fraud. This does not get around the basic fact that the so-called debt was extinguished when it was purchased. Neither does it get around the fact that the agency is not acting as an agent of the originator, which is therefore a deception, but is acting totally on their own behalf. This is because, as far as possible, legal will always turn a blind eye to reality and law. Excuse me. The result of this is therefore nothing more nor less than totally legalised fraud. And for that reason, these sound arguments are very risky to use in a court. Therefore, it's better to fall back in the base argument, prove the original debt. Right, please feel free, Barry says, to run this explanation past anyone in the legal profession. And please pass this on. More people want to know this information. When I posted this on Facebook, I got loads and loads of responses, one of which was from a guy called Jake Willis. Fabulous person, I kind of fancy him, okay? Right, if a debt collection agency hounds you for money, just tell them to go away. Scurry on. You did not agree to have any dealings with them. You have no contract with them. If they bought a debt, that's their fucking problem. Without taking you to court, and they won't for under £10,000, okay? They cannot prove you owe them any money. When a company sells a debt, it is not your problem. You have no contract with these fuckers, no contract, you owe them nothing, right? Ask them to show you a bit of paper with your signature on it, showing you have any dealings with them. They'll be like, that's what they don't want you to know. When you take out a loan, you take out a contract with a bank or whatever, right? Payday loans, fuck them, right? They cannot sell the contract without your signature, so they sell the debt, then the collection agency relies on threats and intimidation to acquire the money. I think not. Right, it works, right? Like Jake's telling us his own personal wee story here, and I hope he doesn't mind me sharing this, right? Jake did this after getting fucked over with unemployment insurance, which he'd paid into for 5 years, right? 5 long years. All he did was never admit to the debt. They asked him to pay £1 or something to show willing. Never do this. Never ever do this. Once you pay anything, you're admitting that you owe them money. Just tell them you have no money. You do not acknowledge the debt, and as far as you're aware, you have no contract with the debt collection agency. If they argue, don't argue back. They record the call and you may make a mistake, okay? Just say, take me to court and prove I owe you the money. Never admit to owing money. I did this with Jake did this with Capital One, NatWest, 2 debt collection agencies. Says he can't get credit now, but so fucking what, and have not heard from him for 4 years now. So what if you've got you're blacklisted for credit? Don't tack on credit, it only encourages the fuckers. Live within your means. If you can't afford something, day without. Who cares about new gadgets and fucking mobile phones and TVs? You didn't need it. Anyway, you have to be strong and persistent. If they constantly ring you or visit you, log the calls and visits, then tell them you're going to take out an injunction if they do not stop harassing you, for it is harassment and it is illegal. Know your rights, people. Know your fucking rights. Give them nothing. Always pay your personal debts. Always pay back your friends, your granny, your credit union, your ethical bank. But see these usurers, they're payday loans, nothing more than loan sharks. Give them fuck all. Come on. This has got to stop. This is pish, right? The only way forward is a cash stroke barter economy. Fuck this. Burn your credit cards. Honestly, you don't want to be dealing with these people. And these are uncertain times. You could lose your fucking job tomorrow. And then who's going to pay your mortgage? You think the banks are going to wait for that? Well, you're trying to get employment in some fucking call centre that'll never pay your mortgage. You know what I mean? Fuck this. It's got to stop. We've got to stand together. We've got to stand up to these people. Give them fuck all. Track over.